Hello, everyone. Welcome to Youth Online. My name is Clint Hendry. I'm the Next Gen pastor here at Reverb Church. And today we're talking about faith and doubt, belief and unbelief. And we're going to look at a story in Mark 9 and pick it up in 17 where Jesus heals the boy possessed by a spirit. And in 17 it says this, a man in the crowd answered, "Teacher, I brought you my son who is possessed by a spirit that has robbed him of speech. Whenever it seizes him, it throws him to the ground. He foams at the mouth, gnashes his teeth, and becomes rigid. I asked your disciples to drive out the spirit, but they could not." And Jesus replied, "You unbelieving generation, how long shall I stay with you? How long should I put up with you? Bring the boy to me." So they brought him to Jesus. When the spirit saw Jesus, it immediately threw the boy into convulsion. He fell to the ground and rolled around, foaming at the mouth. Jesus asked the boy's father, "How long has he been like this?" "From childhood," the father answered. "It has often thrown him into fire and water to kill him. But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us." And then this is kind of the first thing we're going to look at, where the father says, "If you can do anything, please take pity on us and help us." And Jesus' response says, "If you can?" Jesus is basically saying, "If I can, oh, I can." So everything is possible for one who believes. And immediately the boy's father explained, "I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief." You know, this father's statement in Mark 9:24, he says, "I believe. Help me in my unbelief." It's a plea, a prayer of a desperate father who's pleading to Jesus on behalf of his afflicted child. This statement, expressed in 5 simple words, is profound, a difficult, confusing, common experience to all of us. And that's that all followers of Jesus have both belief and unbelief, both faith and doubt present in us in the same time. We see this elsewhere in Scripture. For instance, we see it in Peter in Matthew 14, who walked on water only to start sinking when his unbelief set in. And we see it all too frequently in ourselves, which is why many of us can identify with this desperate father's prayer. Unbelief is a common temptation for believers. However, though it's common, it's spiritually dangerous because it can lead us to fall away from the living God. It's an enemy that we must fight vigorously. We each fight unique battles against the enemy of unbelief because each of us has unique experiences, unique temperaments that make us uniquely vulnerable to certain forms of unbelief. Getting help to see our vulnerabilities and our unbelief is crucial to winning the battle, and it's something that Jesus is happy to help you with if we ask him. The father of this afflicted boy in Mark 9 surely has a unique experience which has left him desperate and vulnerable to unbelief. It's not difficult to understand why. Just imagine what his experience has been up to this point when he encounters Jesus. He spent a number of years likely doing everything he could in order to help his son. The father, and no doubt his wife, had saved their precious child from death numerous times, rescuing him from what the father said, fire and water, which means they live with a daily threat that they might not be able to be there in time to save him the next time, and with a future dread of what might become of him when they're no longer around. And surely this father's prayed often for his son, but with no visible results. Surely he's previously sought out other spiritual leaders, but to no avail. Even Jesus' disciples were not able to help him due to their own lack of faith. We can understand why his hope and therefore his faith seemed to be trending down at this point. Jesus showed up. The father was very much like us. His unbelief has had roots in his unique experience. His fears and disappointments shaped his expectations. Next week we'll look at how Jesus responds to the father, but today let's just take a minute and consider how our own experience has contributed to doubts and unbelief. Let me just ask you these 2 simple questions. One, in what areas of your life can you relate to the father's struggle of faith and doubt? How can we relate to the struggle that we have doubt and faith in us at the same time? Second question is, what question or doubts about faith come to your mind from time to time? And today we encourage you to ask the Lord to help you overcome unbelief. Ask for forgiveness for not believing that his truth prevails. In Psalm 139, 23 and 24, King David prays this. He says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there is any grievous way in me, and lead me in a way that's everlasting. Jesus answers prayers, and he will answer you. He will answer the prayer, I believe, help me in my unbelief. Look, we thank you for joining us today. Know that we love you. We're grateful for you. And until next time, we hope you have a fantastic day.